Hi, my name is Tom Sokolowski and I'm a nutritional therapist and functional medicine practitioner. Have you ever wondered why tea is less jittery than coffee? Are you perhaps looking for a healthy boost to cognitive function that won't increase cortisol but will actually decrease it? Are you looking for a low-cost supplement that will help reduce anxiety and help you sleep? Are you looking for the calm but alert mental focus you need for exams or even meditation, whilst also protecting your brain in the long term? You may have heard about theanine improving concentration and reducing anxiety, but a growing body of research is revealing further health benefits. In this post I will describe the many known benefits of theanine. In functional medicine, naturopathy and nutritional therapy, we look for the root causes of symptoms. However, it can be helpful to also alleviate symptoms in the short term whilst working on the deeper causes. If you're generally healthy, there will be times when life places many demands on you all at once, and perhaps all at the same time. Your sleep may be affected by noise from your neighbours or a snoring husband or wife. This is where a supplement like theanine can be very helpful in the short term, as well as for its long-term health benefits. A Chinese legend has it that Bodhidharma, the first patriarch of the Chan school of Buddhism, cut out his eyelids so that he would not fall asleep in meditation, and where he threw his eyelids to the ground was where the first tea plant grew from. It turns out that it's not just the caffeine in tea that has traditionally made it the drink of choice for Buddhist monks looking for a relaxing boost to their focus in meditation. Theanine is an amino acid which contributes to the pleasant flavour and umami taste of tea, so that its content affects the quality and price of tea leaves. Green tea has been drunk for 4,700 years, and you've probably heard about the polyphenols in green tea that are protective against heart disease, cancer, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease, and may even benefit weight loss. You may not have heard as much about theanine, which may have some synergistic action together with the polyphenols in green tea. Some research indicates that caffeine and theanine work synergistically to improve cognitive function, but also theanine reduces some of the effects of caffeine and thus reduces the jitteriness from the caffeine, which is why green tea is less jittery than coffee. Most research looks at averages across a study population, and it may well be that the effect when combined with caffeine varies for different individuals, and indeed a few of my clients have actually found green tea to be more jittery than caffeine, which I speculate may be down to genetics. Theanine is converted into glutamate, and there are known genetic variants that slow down the conversion of stimulatory glutamate into calming GABA that might be at play in these individuals, though I have not tested their genes to find out if this hypothesis might be correct, and of course much larger studies would be needed. Tea leaves are about 1 to 2% theanine by dry weight, and 1 cup of green tea will contain 8 to 30 milligrams of theanine. Black, white and oolong tea tend to have only a little less theanine than green tea. Matcha green tea not only has more of the polyphenol EGCG, but being grown in the shade before harvesting also increases the theanine content. Since tea high in theanine improves the umami taste and increases the price of tea, perhaps the best natural source would be a high-grade matcha tea. Theanine is also found in the bay bolete mushroom and is also available as a very affordable supplement, which can be very helpful if you are sensitive to caffeine or if you are avoiding caffeine to get your cortisol levels back in balance and to get over burnout. Theanine comes in 2 mirror image forms, L-theanine and D-theanine. It is L-theanine that is found in tea that has been studied extensively, and the supplement form is L-theanine. So in this video it's always the L-theanine form that I'm referring to when I speak about theanine. Theanine has been granted generally recognised as safe status by the FDA, and huge doses of 4 grams per kilogram of body weight showed no adverse effects in rats. In fact, later in this video you'll see that theanine protects against toxins and enhances detoxification. 30 minutes after taking 50 to 200 milligrams of theanine, alpha waves in the brain are increased, which indicates a state of relaxation, without increasing the theta waves associated with drowsiness. Theanine readily crosses the blood-brain barrier and is best known for reducing anxiety, but also improves learning and memory, increases brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, to grow new brain cells, and is neuroprotective and is even being researched for its potential benefits for ADHD. You can see why this combination may be very helpful for exam time, not only to keep calm and to improve learning and memory in the short term, but to protect the brain and to preserve cognitive function in the long term from this period of stress, since acute stress improves memory, but chronic stress reduces memory. Stress hormones increase glucose levels, and as the neurons, that's the nerve cells, burn more glucose, they create more oxidative stress, and you can see now why blood sugar imbalance is associated with Alzheimer's disease, which has now been dubbed type 3 diabetes. The oxidative stress has a beneficial effect on the brain at lower doses due to a hormetic effect, which you can learn more about by watching my videos on hormesis. But at higher doses, oxidative stress can damage the brain. In animal studies, theanine increases antioxidants such as glutathione, catalase and superoxide dismutase. Theanine protects the brain and memory from the negative effects of stress in rats and in mice. One of the ways in which theanine can protect against neurodegenerative conditions such as Alzheimer's disease is because theanine is an analogue of the amino acid and stimulatory neurotransmitter glutamate, and it can block glutamate receptors in the brain. Although glutamate is important for learning and memory, too much of it can overstimulate the neurons and cause what's known as excitotoxicity, which can be behind neuronal cell death in stroke, hypoglycemia, and neurodegenerative diseases, including Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Excitotoxicity could arise from environmental toxins, from alcohol abuse, from chronic stress, high blood sugar, infection or inflammation, or from brain injury due to physical trauma or stroke. However, theanine does not have a very strong affinity for glutamate receptors, and another way it reduces glutamate production is by reducing the absorption by nerve cells of the amino acid glutamine, from which glutamate is made. Theanine also offers some of its neuroprotection by activating calming anti-anxiety GABA receptors, at least in mice. Theanine is a safe and natural way to improve sleep by reducing anxiety, and can thus reduce the risk of a number of conditions associated with insomnia such as heart disease, depression, diabetes and obesity, without causing drowsiness when taken during the day. 200 milligrams during the day and again at night improved sleep in boys with ADHD, and it could potentially benefit cognitive function and anxiety in ADHD, since animal studies indicate it increases the neurotransmitters dopamine, serotonin, GABA and glycine. The recently discovered glymphatic system, a lymphatic system for the brain, is activated during sleep when it clears out debris from the brain, including the beta amyloid that is associated with Alzheimer's disease. Sleep is therefore also important to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Theanine also protects cultured human neurons from toxins associated with Parkinson's disease, and may therefore be helpful in reducing Parkinson's disease symptoms. Another toxin that may be a key driver of Parkinson's is dopamine quinone, which can be formed in your brain when there is too much of the neurotransmitter dopamine. And theanine once again is protective by increasing brain glutathione. Animal studies show that theanine can protect the brain from the toxic effects of aluminium, cadmium and amyloid beta plaque that's associated with Alzheimer's disease. Aluminium toxicity is also associated with Alzheimer's disease, so it's another way in which theanine can prevent Alzheimer's disease. As well as protecting your neurons, theanine increases brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, in rats, as well as nerve growth factor during the development of the nervous system, thus accelerating brain development. The increase in BDNF, as well as the action on glutamate receptors, may also be behind the potential antipsychotic and antidepressant effects of theanine, and some research indicates it reduces symptoms of schizophrenia. Post-traumatic stress disorder changes the expressions of genes in the hippocampus and amygdala of rats that affect, for example, neurotransmitter balance, and theanine changes the gene expression for a more favourable outcome that will reduce the stress response. For those of you who have had some genetic testing, you may be interested to know that one of the genes whose expression is decreased by trauma is MAOA, which therefore reduces the rate of neurotransmitter breakdown and may contribute to an increased stress response. And theanine reverses this effect, so it will reduce the stress response after trauma. A 2017 pilot study found that theanine at a dose of 250 milligrams per day reduced symptoms of depression along with improvements in anxiety, sleep and cognitive function. And since we have already seen that theanine increases neurotransmitters and reduces cortisol and BDNF, this should come as no surprise. Theanine is well known for boosting cognitive function in the short term, but I would just like to remind you of the many ways it can preserve or improve cognitive function in the long term, reducing stress and protecting the brain from stress, from glutamate excitotoxicity and from other toxins, increasing BDNF and nerve growth factor to grow new neurons, improving sleep so that the glymphatic system can effectively clear out debris from the brain, and increasing the production of antioxidants such as glutathione. Theanine does not appear to be addictive, and in fact some research indicates it can be helpful to break addiction, though human research is currently lacking.